It's mid-February, and I have to tell you, Lidl has just filled their middle aisles with a whole load of Parkside tools and accessories. So today I'm going to show you a selection of what they've got on offer, including my top 10 best buys for some of the cheaper stuff that I guarantee you will save any DIYer money. You know, a big reason why we all DIY is to save money. So if you can buy tools and accessories or consumables at bargain prices, I see no reason why not to. So this week, Lidl's has dumped a huge amount of Parkside stuff into their stores, probably the biggest influx that I've seen in recent years. So over the next 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to show you some of the items they've got on offer and suggest some of the cheaper stuff that will help any DIYer at any level, whether you're a beginner or a pro. Before I do that, I have to tell you that the bigger, more expensive tools I've just bought, like this flux core wire welder and this plasma cutter that's got an integrated compressor, I'll be reviewing on my new tool channel called Tools and Effect, where you can see reviews on everything from small to large tools, cheap to expensive, beginner to professional, and everything in between. A link to the channel is in the description below. So please go and have a look and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss any of the weekly videos that will be coming out every Wednesday to help you get through the week. Right, let's crack on because we've got a lot to get through. Before we look at this, let's go to Lidl's and see what they've got in the middle of Lidl. Let's first have a quick look at all the power tools that are available at the moment, and most of them we would all have seen at some point in the past, like this £30 corded router and various types of drill like an SDS hammer drill or cordless hammer drill, or this £30 biscuit jointer which I hadn't seen before. There's a couple of different impact drivers and a cordless jigsaw and a corded angle grinder, and I can highly recommend this vacuum that I bought a few months ago that also has a power takeoff on it. There's a few different types of clamps and guides and a number of different budget hand tools of various shapes and sizes. One thing that is new to me is this wall tool storage board for a £5, which I didn't think was bad value, and also this wall organiser for just £13. There's an awful lot of other bits and pieces I'm not going to go through in detail as it would just take too long, including lights and various attachments for your power washer. The last couple of tools I like the look of are this small cordless angle grinder and the cordless heat gun, which I may pick up on a future visit, as by this time I think I've got enough in my trolley and probably enough for the credit card today. So I'm sure you'll agree, quite a lot of Parkside products there, and if you're watching this soon after I publish it in the middle of February, just a couple of days after Valentine's Day, I guarantee you 95% of what you've just seen will be on the shelves in your local Lidl's. Although this is not being sponsored by Lidl's at all, if you do want something, I would suggest you get down there sooner rather than later. Right, let's have a look at some of the stuff that I've actually purchased that you didn't see in the video just now. Starting with a little bit of safety, and what I've got here for £1.70 each is earplugs and safety specs. Now, eye protection is really important, obviously, for a lot of your work. And there's some safety specs that are better than others. I really like these ones because they're lightweight. This is a type I normally buy, but normally they're twice, or if not a little bit more, as expensive as this. If they're not scratched, these are the ones that are so light that once you put them on, you sort of forget you're wearing them, which means you can just wear them all day long. In hindsight, I should have bought some more of those. Actually comes with instructions if you don't know how to wear safety specs. Also, these earplugs are just the standard ones that you squidge up and you put into your ear, and then they expand and it all goes quiet. But if you're doing noisy work and you're doing it for a long time, they're really easy to use for a long time because they're so lightweight. So next is drill bits, and I've got a selection here that beginner DIYers may not have in their toolbox, and from my experience is really handy to have when you're building and making things. First up, Forstner bits, which cost me £5, well £4.99 actually. In fact, all the prices I'm going to tell you, I'm going to round up a penny just to make it easy. So £5 for Forstner bits. I've got some wood drill bits countersunk bits here. The other thing that I did see when we're talking about bits is some SDS drill bits, some short chisel bits for my SDS drill. That's this one here, the smaller one. So to have short bits for a smaller drill is really handy. This is £4, so that's only £1 each, which I think that's going to be useful for that. So once again, for £4, they're selling 5 SDS plus hammer drill bits, which is quite nice to have for my SDS drill. And you get a variety of them. I think there's a 5mm, 2 6s, 2 8s, a 10 and a 12, which will go nicely with this smaller drill. So that's quite a nice set to have as an addition to my tools. What else have we got? The next thing they had quite a lot of is painting supplies in various shapes and sizes, all of which are £4, only £4. So I picked up a roller with multiple heads, which I find really handy if I'm painting MDF or just touching up a little bit on the wall. The other thing they had was various types of paint sets. This is the smaller one that comes not only with its own tray and roller, but it also has a couple of paintbrushes, 3 in fact, a small roller, and even a dust sheet. This is for £4. They also had a bigger version, but it had quite a fluffy roller on it. But a little pack like this, which I'm always using for £4, I don't think you can beat. Right, next is a lifting tool. Now this is very similar to a quick clamp, but it's got a base to it. And when you pull the clamp, essentially a part of the base rises. So it's sort of designed to be on the floor, to slip underneath something, and then raise it up. Now it's got a capacity, it says, of 150 kilograms, which is a heck of a lift, to be honest with you. So it's the sort of thing that you can use to slip under appliances in the kitchen, like a washing machine, just to raise it up to pull it out, or even under a door to raise it while you're trying to fix it to the hinges. It's very straightforward, and cost-wise, it costs only £8, which I thought was pretty much of a bargain. Now I haven't got a job for this at the moment, but I think in the future, it's definitely going to come in handy at some point. Not sure what I'm going to use it on. At 150 kilograms, it's quite a capacity. It works everything from just 6mm, so it's quite low profile, up to, I don't know what that is, maybe 250, which is plenty for a lot of the lifting that I think I'm ever going to be doing. Right, what's next? Oh yeah, assorted boxes. Now these are sort of things that you store forever and then they come in useful. You're not quite sure when they're going to come in useful, but if you've got somewhere to store them, handy to have for that day that they come in useful. And the first set is assorted shrink tubing. The next one that I've got here is sealant washers. So all different sizes of rubber washers. And the last of the sets that I've got is something that's always handy to have, and that's hose clips of various different sizes. You can never have enough hose clips. So once again, that's going to last me a lifetime. So I'll just stick that in the corner. The next time in the garden when I need a hose clip or putting in a washing machine or dishwasher, then I've got probably the size I want. They had various different types of these, lots of different options. These are the 3 that I bought. I don't really need any others at the moment. But once again, what's quite nice about them, they all sort of clip together. So if you get a selection, they all clip together, sit on your shelf, and will be useful for some time in the future. £3 each, you can't lose. Now, this next item is something that you will see in probably a video fairly soon, and I don't really know how many I need of these, but essentially they're sort of mending plates and angled, galvanized angled brackets of various sizes. I don't really know what size I need at this point. I'm thinking about a project that you'll probably see in a few weeks' time. So I've got a various selection, and these come out to £3 a pack of the various sizes. So each one is £3. So I thought I'd get a selection. I'm sure I'll use them at some point in the garden or up in the loft or something. But I've got them, and at £3 each, once again, that's probably about 50% of what you'd pay in a standard DIY shop. Right, what's next? So number 7 is hook and loop straps. These always come in useful when you've got cables to try to store. And the ones that I got, they did them in different colours, but the ones that I got was a variety pack. So you got blue, green, yellow, and red. Let's just try a bit of red. And these are really handy for just tying up cables. Yes, you can buy them from Amazon if you can be bothered to go onto their website and find the things. But for £2, I doubt if you're really going to find them any cheaper. And what you do is find just one cable, put it through a single cable to start with. That means that it won't fall off. Then you can tie the rest of the cables up and it all keeps it together. When you undo it, because you put it through that single cable, there you are, you've got it forevermore and it won't suddenly drop onto the floor. So if you're thinking about buying these sort of things, make sure you get the ones with the loops in the end, because that just makes everything not easier and means that you're not going to lose them. Now, number 3 is storage boxes. Now, this is a set of 3 compartmentalized storage boxes. This is £10 they're selling this for, and they all get clipped together, so they all work as one, which means you can store all your bits and pieces in there and keep them together. Now, the ones that I generally use are these Stanley ones. Now, these are £10 each, and you'll know from previous videos I've got quite a lot of these things in my store. So these are the ones I like the best. They're a lot rugged and they're a lot bigger. This is the one that I keep all my nails for the various guns in. However, for £10 each, these start getting a little bit pricey once you've bought a few of them. So if you want to go for something a little bit cheaper, 3 for £10 is not a bad deal. Let me just have a look inside this. Let's unclip them. There are various different compartments, and just like the Stanley ones, you've got the plastic inserts that compartmentalize it or leave them out so you can get bigger stuff. Perfect for screws and bits and pieces. You always end up with lots of bits and pieces that you need to store when doing a bit of DIY. So if you've got, if you want a little bit of storage, not bad for £10. So at number 9, I couldn't resist buying a few more squares for carpentry. These sort of things come in useful all the time, whether it is carpentry or just sort of DIY around the house. Do I already have these? Of course I do. I've got squares all over the place. Can I find any? No. So if I buy another 3, then I've got half a chance of finding a square if I need it. £6 for 3 squares can't be bad. I'm sure they're 90 degrees. I will check them before I start. But just to have another set like this, just for £6, is going to help me out. And lastly, I've got 3 different sets here of screwdrivers and ratchets, starting with the smallest one, which is a sort of ratchet type manual screwdriver with lots and lots of bits of all different shapes and sizes, which generally comes in handy. I bought one of these recently from another big DIY shop. This was £5. The ones that I bought was 10, essentially for the same. So once again, about half the price. Now, this isn't one of the things you're going to use all the time, and you can't put that much pressure on a screwdriver like this. However, to have that sitting in the car or sitting in the house when all your tools are maybe in your workshop, really handy to have just for the, you know, just for the odd occasion. And at £5, you can't really beat it. Along the similar lines, and this is something that I've found coming useful an awful lot over the last few years. I've got a different set, but essentially the same, is like a micro screwdriver set with really, really fine ends on them. A whole selection of various different ends you can put in it. This is like a mini screwdriver, but once again, if you're repairing a watch or something really small, something like this really comes into its own. And I think that was £7. Going up to £10 is a ratchet set, a mini ratchet with just about every shape and size end that you want, even screwdriver bits as well, which you would have seen when I was doing the bathroom, trying to get into a really tight place where you can't get a screwdriver, but a ratchet and a screwdriver bit where you can just get around the corner and get you out of trouble every now and again. And sets like these are really handy to have, as I said, in the car or in the house, away from your normal toolboxes. And at £5 for a set like that, very, very difficult to get cheaper anywhere else. Anyway, that just about does it for my shopping spree at Lidl's. Obviously, as I said, if you're interested in any of this, I would get yourself down to Lidl sooner rather than later and check out the Parkside stuff. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you next time.